Crime, security, wildlife. On board with the Miami Water Cops. Today, clandestine swimming. Special ops are undercover in the water.
They'll get in place using stealth and concealment.
Leap of faith. The Coast Guards are put through their paces. And wreck diving. The water cops are in at the deep end.
Miami River is one of the largest contaminated areas that we dive in. You just name it and you can find it here.
Miami. This paradise of sun, sea and sand currently ranks 14th on America's most dangerous cities list. Flanked by ocean, and with the Miami River piercing the heart of the city, water-based crime is rife. It's the job of the City of Miami Marine Patrol to enforce the law on the water. And today, they're diving for stolen cars. Officers Julius, Wiggins and Bethencourt have drawn the short straw. They'll be the ones braving the contaminated river water in search of the hazardous vehicle. But they're never off patrol.
Slow down! John, go get his It's idle speed up the goddamn river.
This guy was blatantly breaking the speed limit. The cops act quickly to apprehend him. Speeding boats are the biggest killer of the manatee, an endangered sea mammal.
About 3 weeks ago, I was involved in a case where a manatee was recovered here on the river, and it was dead. And when they did the autopsy, they discovered that it died from head trauma. So, I mean, that right now is a big concern with us, the manatees, because they are on the extinction list.
The cops get kitted up to go underwater.
Well, guess what happened to me?
Another group getting ready to go in the water are the US Coast Guards in Fort Lauderdale. Based just 22 miles north of Miami, these guys are responsible for search and rescue on the high seas. Today, it's training. They're going to be tested on helicopter rescue exercises. But these heroes of the sea face a hidden enemy.
Jellyfish they're migrating. At this time of the year, there's millions of them that travel together, almost like an oil slick. So that's one of the safety concerns we're going to have for the swimmers. They're called man of war. They're probably the most dangerous jellyfish there are. They inflict a lot of pain and just swell up or get a rash. And these guys are going to have wetsuits on, but any skin that's exposed and the jellyfish hit them is very painful. It's hard to work in those conditions. I mean, a lot of times, yeah, they're going to get dropped in water where there's jellyfish, but if we can avoid it during a training exercise, then that's what we want to do.
I've been stung by a regular jellyfish, but not any man of war. Man of war are a little more, I wouldn't say deadly, but they can be, depending on their size. They can make you fairly sick.
The oil slick of jellyfish that's in the water. I was wondering if you can see any while you're up there so we can steer away from for the swimmer safety.
Roger, we don't see any at this time. We'll make sure that we keep it visible and we'll pass this way that you and the swimmers know.
6576 424. Roger, we're ready for further tasking and sequencing whenever you're ready.
6476, Roger.
Roger.
All clear. Now the pressure's on. Coast Guard inspectors are on board today, monitoring how they do.
My team, we travel the country once a year, and we go over all their paperwork. We do a physical fitness test screening, and then we do the water work, which we're doing today. What I'm doing is standardization, where every swimmer in the Coast Guard is doing the same procedure. It's not really grading, it's kind of just critiquing to make sure they're doing their job properly. Each time we deploy from the helicopter and we do a rescue and get back in the helicopter, that's considered one evolution. So today we'll be doing a basket pickup of the survivor, which will be myself, and then a military pickup, and then the last one is a direct deployment pickup.
When the helicopter gives the signal, they'll be ready to start. Special Ops. It's the start of an undercover scout swimming spy course. Instructor Dave Kellerman is a veteran in this specialist field.
Scout swimmer generally is employed in a reconnaissance or surveillance mode. He'll go in, he'll be the eyes and ears prior to the launch of a police raid or a law enforcement raid on either a marina or a water side facility. They'll get in place using stealth and concealment without being discovered by anyone.
Kellerman is going to run through the equipment they'll use.
I just want to show you some of these tools you guys can use here. Now we have a mask. Downfall of the mask is the lens produces glare. We can mitigate that by using a sniper veil that you can put over this mask. You can attach it or just put it over your head. You can actually swim through or see through that while you're swimming. If you don't have that, pantyhose over the lens of the mask will reduce the glare. If you do need to wear a mask...
The trainees. 6'8" Rick Day is a federal agent looking for new techniques.
I was able to swim before I could walk. My parents put me in the water when I was 6 weeks old, so I have that going for me, along with a long history of lifeguarding at the ocean, the pool, a lot of police diving.
All right, now then we go to a flotation device. I got two different types here. This is a regular scuba BC that I've converted to work for me in a scout swim application. No matter how good a swimmer you are, you need flotation because you can't overcome Mother Nature when you get tired.
Adventure lover Jason Cherry wants to turn professional undercover agent.
Been down to the Amazon jungle in Peru a couple of times for jungle survival school, but this is my first security training exercise.
Talk about some headgear you can wear when you're in the water. Try a little bit of concealment. You can take a jungle floppy and you can put various levels of camouflage on it if you want. Some guys will take coconut leaves or coconut palm fronds or coconut shells, whatever, and make a little swimming gear. You don't have to get that elaborate because chances are if something like that is in the water, it's going to attract more attention than if you try to stay out of the way of something. So if you wore a coconut shell or palm fronds on your head, you went swimming across the marina thinking no one's going to notice it. Most people that live in marinas are going to see that as palm frond under mobility moving across the water. What the heck is that? So don't rely on that to hide and try and use masking on boats. And we're going to talk about that when we get in the water. But it's something to break up the silhouette, especially at night. What we can do later on, I'm going to show you how to take this flotation and use it in operation, and then use this secondary breathing apparatus, also known as spare air, as a escape method. So you can attach this to your BC or your float vest. If you need to go into water and get away from someone, you've got this 57 breaths at about 5 foot below the surface. So if you need to hide under a boat, hide under a dock, or swim for a distance underwater, this will work. It'll provide you a method of escape. And if you're coming under fire from some bad guys or they've seen you, you need to get out of there without giving your position away, this may give you the edge. Any questions on this? You guys ready to get in the water? Good.
The Miami River. The latest hotspot for dumping stolen cars. But they're a serious hazard at the bottom of this shallow channel. It's up to the water cops to haul them out. And this is no pleasure dive.
Miami River is one of the largest contaminated areas that we dive in. For instance, we know there's sodium phosphate down towards the mouth of the river because during World War II there was an old ammo dump there and they dumped stuff into the water. Haitian boats and a lot of other boats dump in batteries from their boats and all that acid gets into the water. You just name it and you can find it here.
Officer Wiggins has a dry suit to protect him from the contamination, but Lily's suit ordered months ago still hasn't arrived. She's going to have to brave it in just a wetsuit. Lily's operating an underwater camera. This acid yellow is the actual colour of the contaminated water beneath the surface. With visibility this poor, the hardest task is locating the car. and they'll be disturbing the thick sediment that encases it, temporarily blinding them. This rope may be the only way they'll find their way back.
What they normally do is when they find it, they tie the rope to the rear axle, and then what they're going to do is they're going to get the tow truck, go back and hook that car up. So they're going to basically use the rope as a reference. So they'll just go follow the rope from the surface down, and it should be tied to the axle already. Then they'll hook up the chains and then the tow truck's cable and all that.
After the break, the Coast Guards are going in the water. And the car is coming out. Spy swimming. Instructor Dave Kellerman demonstrates how to move undetected through the water.
The scout swimmer is able to swim in and penetrate marine areas without creating a wake. Most of their body is below the surface of the water. They tend to keep their ears and eyes above the water so they can see and hear what's going on.
To stay hidden, Kellerman wears a sniper veil.
Did that make a lot of noise? Obviously, I'm sticking up out of the water, but one thing you need to think about, are you going to keep your ears above water so you can hear a potential threat or hear voices? Are you going to make a compromise from stealth to your ability to hear and see your enemy? I think I would. Now, if I want to swim a little faster, put my arms on my side, I'll rub my hands out here, bring my pistol out like there.
The trainees' turn.
You guys did that real well. Minimal water movement. What are you doing when you're swimming? You're trying to keep them from seeing you and hearing you. You're also listening to what's going on. You may hear the click of the automatic weapon bolt. You may hear a radio crack. You may hear a boat engine cranking up. What are you going to do if you hear a boat engine cranking up? You try and get into an area where you can conceal yourself even better. Stop moving and you're going to listen. Just because your objective is to get to a site and listen doesn't mean you don't listen on the way there. All right?
The body swim.
Scout swimmers normally operate in teams of 2, although they can do their job individually. It's not recommended, but it does happen.
In the field, the body method can prove vital to bringing a wounded partner back to base. And last, underwater surveillance tactics.
Yeah, these guys are great instructors. I enjoyed it. Looking forward to applying those skills on the water.
The Coast Guard. The helicopter exercises are about to begin. First, basket rescue. It's dangerous work. The helicopter electrics charge the metal basket with so much static that the slightest touch can result in a massive shock.
When the basket comes down, it carries a static charge. What we have to do is we have to take the static charge out before, which either has to come in contact with part of the boat or the water or the wand before we can touch it.
And that basket is what we would normally use to put any victims in that needed to be medevac to a hospital, or if somebody was in the water, their boat sank, and the basket can be dropped into the water, the people can get inside, the basket still floats up to the surface. We have to stay inside the cabin of the boat here, because as the helicopter comes down, prop wash, the rotary wash that hits the water. Basically, it's like a rainstorm out there right now. It's soaking wet, and we got to keep the windows and doors shut inside here in order to keep all our electronics dry and in order for us to be able to navigate properly.
Next guy to be tested, the rescue swimmer.
I'm Jason Frere. Today is going to be my stand check. I'm going to basically go in the water with my instructor and go through some drills.
I think he's going to get ready to jump now.
This swimmer will play the role of the drowning victim. The rescue swimmer will be winched down to save him.
Usually the helicopter will lower them down into the water. They'll get on scene with an emergency situation. They'll assess the situation. They're in constant communication with the pilot of the helicopter, and they can tell the pilot what's going on down there on the surface so the pilot knows what to expect.
This is relatively calm water, but in a real rescue, they could be facing 3 or 4 meter waves. It takes maximum precision to get this right.
Roger, we're departing scene. Thanks very much for your support this morning.
Mission accomplished. So, how did the Coast Guard inspector think they did?
Fairly well. The helo was low on fuel, so we didn't get a chance to do everything we wanted to do. But everything went pretty well.
Miami, the car theft capital of America. And when the thieves want to get rid of the cars, they dump them here, the Miami River. It's up to the water cops to get them out. Julius and Lily have found a car. They must hook it up carefully, ready to be winched out of the water. A potential danger. The rusted fuel tank can rupture and explode on exit. As the car's winched up, the fuel leaks out.
You see the gas that's coming out of it now?
How long it's been down there, but the car was stolen back in 1998. So I guess you could say it was probably in there more than a couple of years. Because usually what they do is they'll steal them and then they'll get rid of them. In this case, they'll, drive it into the river.
Kellerman's boat. With members of the US Special Forces and the FBI on board, there's a unique chance to trade tactics and experiences.
You can deceive the eye with a breakup of an outline. The human form is something that we're all used to looking at. So that's why he showed wearing that boonie hat when you're swimming, because a round head is gonna look like a head. Basically a head looks like a head to us because we see them every day. Everybody we look at has one, so we're used to seeing that. So you disguise it. Painting your face is good, and some of the reasons behind that is, the color of the lines. You're causing it. You're kind of like taking the natural shape of a face, and by using paint in different colors of dark green, black, brown, it'll break up the outline.
A lot of guys will black out their face, and or they'll use the really dark colors, and that's not what you want to do. You believe it or not, the lighter colors,
and the lines,
broken outline, and try to avoid black. Because you look out here and how much black do you really see out here? You don't see flat black as a real natural color. So
one of the things that I find in the human eye is looking straight at something, you might not see it, but if you move your head in the scan, your eyes will pick up the object or the movement by, for some reason, moving your head. That happens a lot with looking for markers out at speed at night. You're looking for this marker so you don't hit it. And then you look away, and as you look away, you look back, and suddenly it'll just pop into your vision. Whereas if you just kept staring, you never would have seen it.
What do you think would be a good type of long gun or something larger than a pistol to carry in a water environment?
Well, it depends on, are you looking for range? Are you looking for penetration?
Not necessarily high penetration, but a higher volume of firepower and a little more accuracy than a pistol. A subgun, for instance.
Or it could even be a shotgun if it's close quarters.
Sure.
And Don has a final surprising trick of the trade.
There's a lot of neat things. Probably some of the best places to get good camouflage stuff is at Walmart during deer season. You go there and they sell everything. And some of these different patterns work really good. If you know you're going to be in a grassy area, they make camouflage that matches. We go shopping there a lot. When we're doing drug surveillances, especially out in the woods. And deer season, we love to go there. They got that camouflage paint tape that guys will stick on their rifles. You can stick that on your gear. It's a leafy pattern stuff, and a lot of that stuff's easy to take off afterwards if you don't want to.
The car is safely out of the Miami River. A successful day for the water cops, and one less danger in the busy waterway.
The other thing about the river is where the car was, you get these big tugboats coming in with the big freighters, and their propellers and stuff probably came in contact with parts of the car. So there was excess damage there. But this is pretty much the way they look, when we bring them up. The wrecker company will take it to its yard, and right now it's probably the property of the insurance company because the owner was probably paid off. So it'll probably be destroyed.
Training over, the Coast Guards are back at base. The cops clean up. And on the boat, they're still talking tactics.
Got him when he was vulnerable. And he had a sawed-off shotgun in the toilet.